G'day, thanks for joining me. This month we're going to look at how to make your music more evil. How to inject some spooky into your rock. This is going to be really fun and really simple. For you to utilize this, you're going to have a basic understanding of music. You're going to need to know what each note is called, and you'll need to know the difference between a major and a minor chord. Let's start. We're going to do this in the key of E, because E has a low note of 82.41. Believe it or not, that's kind of important because a lot of people are going to tune their kick drum to be a low E. It's a really nice sub because a fridge hums at around about 50 or 60 cycles, and that's really low. You need really good speakers to be able to pick up that thump. Whereas with 82, most speakers can pick up 82. Plus, 82 is going to hit your body and you're going to feel it. Firstly, let's look at the scales. So we're going to eventually make our way up to a creepy scale, but we're going to start with a major scale. A major scale looks like this. It goes E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Isn't it great? That makes me want to chunder. And it's all very major and all very happy and all very lifeless. But there's a really cool scale called a Dorian, and an E Dorian looks like this. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E. It's a really cool scale. It's a really funky scale. So that's E Dorian. And if you want to do funk or kind of dark stuff, great place to be. It doesn't have a lot of emotion attached to it. It's just like standard. It's great. It's really usable. So this one is E evil. And E evil is really close to a blues scale. It goes like this. E, G, A, B flat, D, E. So that's got the funk to it. It is a little bit of attitude in it. What I would suggest you do now is get on your guitar or get on your keyboard and let's play around with E evil. But what you're going to do is play with those notes and get to know the feeling of those notes. Next, we're going to look at E very evil. One minor change with this one. We've just thrown an F natural in there. It goes like this. E, F, G, A, B flat, D, E. That's a nice scale because there's so much you can do with this scale. So that's all in E very evil. And as you can hear, it's going between the minor thirds and the diminished fifth. So it's got that real mean, nasty feel to it. It's great for guitar. It's great for synths. It's great for fat, dark stuff. Play with this scale. Get to know this scale. Throw yourself around this scale. Now the trick with writing a melody over the top of this, I'm not talking about the guitar or the synth riff or the pads. The melody should be simple. People can only hum simple things. They can't hum diminished fifths like this. And they're not very good with semitones either. So if your melody is based around a lot of this stuff, the vocalist is singing, it's going to be hard for people to remember and hard for them to sing along with. Because the thing about creating a catchy melody is it's got to be simple. So within this scale, stick to those ones. And remember, the trick is hum it. And even if you're a bad vocalist or whatever, if you can hum it, anyone can hum it. And a trick I like to do is think if a group of drunken English backpackers can stand around a piano and sing this song drunkenly, then it's a good song. Let's talk about chords. So the trick with a chord in this scale is to move from minor to minor. This is actually called the circle of minor thirds. So it's going to start with E, go to G, to B flat, to D flat, back to E. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play with that circle of minor thirds, and we're going to start with the E minor. We're going to go to the G minor. Then we're going to go to the B flat minor. Then we're gonna go up another minor third to the D flat. That's pretty. Then back to the E minor. One really cool thing about these chords is when you watch the hand movements, everything is kind of moving and slipping around by a semitone. You go from the B to the B flat, and that's so beautifully creepy. Then if you were going to go to the B flat, you've got the B flat in common, and we're going to move down a semitone from the D to the D flat, keeping that B flat in common. Then if you were going to go to the D flat minor, you would go from the F to the E. And that is so freaky. That's really, really pretty, man. That's spiders crawling all over you. That's kind of really ugly to think about that. So next we're gonna look at putting all of this together into a song. So what we're gonna look at now is a thing called peddling. And peddling is when I'm gonna keep the bass still and I'm gonna move the notes over the top of it. So firstly, we're gonna listen to the chords that we just came up with. These are really cool. So these chords are going from E minor to G minor, then to B flat minor, then back to G minor. Have a listen. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bass line under there that is just sitting on the E. Awesome. So as you can hear, the bass note is holding the chords down because the chords they're sort of moving over the bass line like it's clouds moving over an evil, wicked city. So what's going to happen here is the bass is now going to move with the chords. So they're going to play the root notes. It's going to go from E up to G to B flat, back to the G minor. So as you can hear there, it's giving the chords new life. And this is a really cool thing to do if you've got a song and the last batch of choruses start moving. So all of the other choruses leading up to it pedal. It'll sound like this. So the first and second choruses are going to be here, pedaling. Now it sets free. In the last choruses, the bass is going to move with the pads. And what that's going to do is it's going to give the song life. It's going to make the song feel like it's taking off. Try it. This is awesome fun. We can do something really similar. So here we have a bass riff with the chords over the top, and the chords are moving, but the bass riff is still. E minor. That's G minor. That's B flat minor. It's back to G minor. This time we're going to do something a little different, and we're going to transpose that riff itself. That's E minor, G minor, B flat minor, G minor. So this is a really fun thing to do as well if your song is riff based, because the notes in that riff are all derived on the same scale. When you transpose that by minor thirds, it's all going to slot in to have the same feeling with whatever chord it's in. It's going to work in this most wonderfully distressed manner. We can do one more thing though, and we can still do the movement in minor thirds. So that'll be starting on the E, up to the G, to the B flat, to the D flat. But what we're going to do this time is we're going to make the chords on top of the major. And instead of it being spooky, this is going to give the feeling of power. Have a listen. So that's E major. That's G major. That's B flat major. And that's back to the G major. Once again, in these chords, there are semitonal movements, but there's something about this that makes it powerful. And the reason for that is that the chords are now major. So now in this example, what we're going to hear are those chords, but this time the bass line is still going under them, but the chords are now major. Get a load of this. So that's E major to G major to B flat major, back to the G major. And remember, that's happening because the third in the chord is major. Instead of it being E minor, it's now E major. It's crazy how that one note can change the whole dynamics of the song. It goes from Nosferatu to Superman. I really hope you like this. I really hope this has helped you. Please leave any thoughts you have or questions in the comments below and I will answer them pronto. Thank you for supporting my Patreon. You keep me going. So I want to keep you going.